usual option activity that we see. It'll be completely different than what you see here. But I'll give you a quick recap of yesterday. We're going to zip through this thing because we all have things to do, places to go, and things to take care of. So yesterday, really interesting day because of the fact of how things actually traded. As a matter of fact, when you look at the beginning of the day, it actually looked like a pretty calm day. That changed in a hurry, and we had that midday sort of a change in the market in terms of some of the feel for the market. Then we rallied back, but in the final hour, we really did get hit pretty significantly. As a matter of fact, Dow down a couple of hundred points in the final hour of the day to finish down about 150. The NASDAQ, even worse, it got hit pretty hard, and it finished down about 230 points. And what was really driving a lot of this was the semiconductors. They were down about 2% in the final hour. They finished down 3%. Biotech was down about 2%. That finished down about 3% in the final hour. Technology also getting hit, and that finished down about 1.5%. So that combination really did push around the NASDAQ yesterday. We had volatility. That the intraday volatility continues to be something that's very, very strong. And, it's interesting to watch it, but you're not seeing that quite reflected the way it maybe should be for the volatility index. So I just bring that to your attention because you look over at the volatility index, we were trading between 23 and 24. We went out right around 24, but that's that level is not what we are seeing right now in terms of movement. And clearly, you take a look over at the NASDAQ and the Dow, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and the S&P. Crude got hit late. We had some very interesting trades in terms of the volume leaders yesterday. We only traded about 34 million. I say only, but we only traded 34 million contracts yesterday, a little bit lighter than usual. Rocket Mortgage, that was the story of the day. That led the options yesterday in terms of the entire field, well above Apple. It was 1.5 million. Apple was 1.1 million. We also had NIO at $1 million. And Ford, we talked about that for unusual yesterday. Ford actually traded a little over 700,000 contracts as well. So very, very interesting. How about that big reversal we had yesterday in Target, as a matter of fact? Target was up and about, and it was trading in that 190 range and then completely flipped around. The earnings, all the numbers were absolutely spectacular, but the concerns maybe out there is this peak earnings. And that, I think, was part of what we were seeing in terms of some of those folks taking off some and selling, and that was a big reversal that we witnessed yesterday. There's no doubt about that. So this morning, we start off the day, we look over at the Dow, it's up 160 points. You look over at the NASDAQ, it looks pretty strong. It's up about 70 points. We have not seen those levels for either since we got close to that bell. We got to the bell, Dow opened up a little bit lower. The NASDAQ opened up a little bit lower. NASDAQ started to slide. Dow started to move back to the upside. The Dow now still trading much better, certainly, than where we're looking at the NASDAQ. But on a quick check, I'm looking, I see the Dow in green. It's up about 10 points, but the NASDAQ down about 190 points. You got volatility that's now moved back up and over, as I was saying. Felt a little bit too low. Volatility now definitely well over 25, approaching 26. So that's probably getting a little bit closer to what we are seeing in terms of a lot of this intraday movement that we talk about. Moderna, Peloton, DocuSign, a lot of those names, the stay-at-home type names, if you want to call it that, those names certainly getting hit. Now, if you want to look at the reopened names, those are the names that actually performing reasonably decent, at least early on they have been. So you look at Las Vegas Sands, you look at Carnival Cruise, you look at Uber, you look at some of that. Energy looking very strong, especially those beta names in energy. That continues. Energy continues to be one of the standouts right now. It was up about 1.8% not too terribly long ago. Financials as well. Goldman Sachs, Capital One, JP Morgan, all trading very, very nicely early. So we'll see. Things change in a hurry. There's no doubt about that, and so we'll be watching that. So that kind of gives you a little recap on the sectors. Let's get to the unusual, and we're going to get out of here. So Carnival Cruise, I already mentioned that one. But we have had 11 bullish hits on Carnival Cruise since January 20th. And that was when the stock was trading anywhere between $19 and $20. So they continue to come back, and they continue to come back today. They're buying 2,200 of the March 5th. That's Friday, by the way. So you've got today and 2 more days to trade this. The 32 calls, very inexpensive. They're 14 cents up to 24 cents. So is there a chance that that stock can make that kind of a move? Nobody really knows, but certainly we are seeing the unusual option activity indicating that there could be a move to the upside, despite the fact that they've already run significantly over the last month and a half or so. Really a nice move to the upside. And as I say, 11 different times we've seen unusual option activity in here, all bullish since January 20th. Got one more for you, Boeing. Now, Boeing's hit consistently. They've been right consistently. The time frame is always very difficult, but it's even more difficult again because this one's also expiring on March 5th, which is Friday. So with Boeing trading at 230, they're buying 19,000. Yep, 19,000 of the March 5th expiring 230 calls. They're trading between $2 and $4 on these. And that was one of the areas when we've seen the Dow move into the upside. Boeing is certainly the biggest contributor to that move to the upside, along with add in behind that some of the financials and so forth. So certainly something very interesting to keep an eye on. Folks, knowledge is king. You have to understand the derivatives markets. If you have the understanding and the education there, it gives you a much better opportunity. We'll see if the squeeze play continues to be a big part of today's news cycle as well. But I know we'll have all kinds of great stuff on the halftime report. I will see you there today. Should be a pretty interesting day. Folks, be smart. Be disciplined. That's the key to being somebody who has the best opportunities within this market. We see the volatility each and every day. You've got to trade around that, and you've got to see through that and do your very best. And the best way to do that is have the knowledge and understanding of how quickly things like that can change.